Hey yo, what it do, crew? It's your boy Elijah X, and I'm back here with another one. I said I keep bringing you some info, and I know people don't like to watch Fox News, at least on the left side, but these are some act. This is what I was saying in my previous video. Like, stop listening to react and listen to comprehend, because we don't hate you guys on that side of the aisle by any means. These things affect all of us as Americans, and we need you guys to really start understanding what's going on, because there's a lot that happens, and I might not even have to stop much in this video, but you guys deserve you deserve to know what's going down. So here I am, bringing you some news.
All right. Meanwhile, let's talk about what's going on with Helene, and let's talk about the funding. Now, we see and we know for a fact that people in the mountains were not getting attended to. And we also know that a lot of the landslides and a lot of that flooding, a lot of the flood insurance, they don't get it because they don't feel as though they don't live by water. They don't think it'll be an issue. So you have a unique storm that took place 2 weeks ago, and then people need aid. And then out of nowhere, Mayorkas comes out and says, oh, by the way, FEMA's out of money. Right. We're going to need a replenishment. At the same time, showing really a tone deafness. Over the weekend,
he knows
Kamala
that, though.
Harris talked about
He knows.
Giving Lebanon $167 million. At the same time, $100 million go to the storm-ravaged people of America.
These
By
are
the
the
way,
tweets.
This is fucking despicable and should be grounds for impeachment. How the hell they're over here giving money to Lebanon, and they'll say it in this video, I believe, that is actively attacking our ally that we just celebrated, us blocking out all the missile strike from Iran, and they're sending money to Lebanon that is in rule in lockstep with Hezbollah and Hamas, the terrorist organization. Do you understand? You guys keep forget all the protests and stuff happening. There's obviously someone guiding these things in our country to create these divisions, but for them to send more money to a fucking place that supports terrorism than to help our own people who are just hit by this devastating biblical hurricane, son, come on.
Note, why are we giving Lebanon any money? Hezbollah runs that country. You're giving it to the terrorists. It makes no sense. But having said that, that created the controversy. Where is the money you had already? How could you not have enough for hurricane season? And can you get it automatically for Lebanon and have to get Congress to okay it for us?
So these are the different. Can we put those tweets back up? Because before we get into the briefing, this is what started it all. She's ensuring that Lebanon gets $157 million. But her next tweet that day was, today I announced that the Biden administration will provide $100 million to repair I-40, a major artery for the western North Carolina. We will stand with North Carolina in every.
Man, and this is why people piss me off talking about, oh, MAGA's a fucking white supremacy movement. MAGA is such a terrible thing to say. It's such an awful philosophy to believe in. What, making America great again? If not better than we've ever known in our life? That is how is that a bad thing? How is that a bad thing, guys? You want this to happen? You want people to get wiped out on our own shore by our own administration and everybody just, let it water down the duck's back? That's what y'all want? This is what you want? Because I guarantee you a bunch of our strong patriots are not going to stand for it. But, let's keep on going.
State affected by this storm, Ainsley.
So she's giving $157 million in additional aid for food, water, and shelter to Lebanon, a total of $385 million over the last year. That's without Congress coming back. She's just giving them that money. Last night I was watching Sean's show, taxpayer money that we're also giving out 12 billion per year to Ukraine, 2 billion per year to Ethiopia, 1.3 billion per year to the Taliban, 3 billion to Yemen, 1 billion to Egypt, Jordan, Nigeria, Somalia, and South Sudan. And we're being told that FEMA is running out of money. Some are saying we've already run out. Some are saying it's going to last us through November to help America. So we're giving all this to other people. Well, this is a concern for people in North Carolina. Now you have the Redneck Air Force is there. You have
a lot of special forces guys.
Exactly. All these different operations, all these different volunteers that are helping because people are out there and they're saying we're not seeing FEMA's help. So Peter Doocy, I want you to set this up. Yesterday he was talking to KJP. What happened?
Well, just because people are frustrated. So, last week, Joe Biden sent a letter to the leaders in Congress, the top 4 people, and said, you are going to have to come back and you're going to have to give us more money for FEMA because we don't have, as Mayorkas, and we reported this last Thursday, Mayorkas said we don't have enough money if there's one more hurricane. Hurricane season runs through November. They had no idea there would be a major hurricane bearing down on Florida today. So Peter Doocy took all this information about how Lebanon's getting $157 million new dollars immediately, but the people of the Carolinas, there's no money for them. That led to this.
And on this issue of funding, the administration has money to send to Lebanon without Congress coming back. But Congress does have to come back to approve money to send to people in North Carolina. Do I have that right?
Here's what I'm going to be very clear about. The president and the vice president has had a robust whole of government response to this. Hundreds of millions of dollars. I said it at the top, more than $200 million. But instead, people want to do disinformation, misinformation, which is dangerous.
But President Biden is fond of saying, show me your budget and I will tell you what you value. If he's got money for people in Lebanon right now, without Congress having to come back, what does it say about his values? There's not enough money right now for people in North Carolina who need it. That's not misinformation.
Wait, no, that is your whole premise of the question is misinformation, sir. What you do, yes, it's misinformation. The way you're asking me the question is misinformation.
The whole premise, fuck how a question is asked. Answer the question. No one cares about how you feel about how a question is presented. They are presented because they have answers, and she is in a position to fucking answer. So why is she deflecting? Ask yourselves that. Left side, ask yourself why she's deflecting.
Money that we are allocating to the impacted areas, and there's money there to help people who truly need it. There are survivors who need the funding, and it's there.
That you don't like misinformation.
I actually said we have the money available to help survivors of Hurricane Helene and also Hurricane Milton. Yes. What you're asking me is why Congress needs to come back and do their job. That's what you're asking me. Congress needs to come back and do their job and provide extra assistance, extra funding to disaster relief fund. That's what Congress needs to do, and we're going to continue to urge that. You may not want that, but that's okay. That's what this president wants, and that's what the vice president wants. Thanks, everybody.
3, 2.
First,
Peter's expression.
His facial expression is all of us right now, trying to figure out what was that. And just before we even get to the substance of the argument, the White House press corps has to push back on every time a reporter asks a question that they don't like, that it becomes misinformation. They have been wrong on so many things, but they call it misinformation every single time. Number 2, I don't think it's too much to answer the question why.
This woman just became the senior advisor to Joe Biden in the remaining time that he's in there. What is wrong with her? What is wrong with these people? They over here getting butt hurt. They're over here playing jokes. They got Joe Biden sitting in presidential seats. She's not even supposed to be in the damn room for these discussions. What is going on here? What is happening? How you gonna send an extra $57 million to fucking terrorists? It's and they said it. Over $385 million, I believe it was, in the year of 2024, this year right now, and they don't have enough to help us. They don't have enough to help us. Yo, y'all gotta quit it with this stuff, man.
Why are Americans being put last when it comes to this issue? It's not that we don't support other countries and want to help build them up and yada, 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 yada. But the comparison of $157 million compared to $100 million in the middle of a crisis, and then saying that you got to beg Congress for more money to help the people of North Carolina, it ticks a lot of people off.
Well, you know, Peter's point, you cannot call a question you don't like disinformation,
No.
but that's what she did. I believe it was a couple of weeks ago, I think she referred to one of his questions as being dangerous. He was asking a fair question. Why is it dangerous? Why would she say that stuff? Keep in mind, I think it was last Friday, she was made a senior advisor to Joe Biden.
Oh, great, because she's done so well as press secretary.
And here's what she was doing yesterday. She was defending the absolutely atrocious optics of the administration sending $167 million to Lebanon, while the people of North Carolina are going to have to wait for Congress to pass more money. It is a bad look, and she has to defend it. And instead, what she's trying to do is confuse people. Oh, wait, is Peter asking a question that's not fair? No, the question was fair, and the answer was not right.
FEMA's still sitting on $4.5 billion in unused funds from
Fast forward to Kamala in this goofy ass 60-minute interview. This stuff is just so annoying, man. But check this out, man. Just look at it. Just look at it.
There was an historic flood of undocumented immigrants coming across the border the first 3 years of your administration. As a matter of fact, arrivals quadrupled from the last year of President Trump. Was it a mistake to loosen the immigration policies as much as you did?
It's a long-standing problem, and solutions are at hand. And from day one, literally, we have been offering solutions.
But what I was asking was it a mistake to kind of allow that flood to happen in the first place?
I think the policies that we have been proposing are about fixing a problem, not promoting a problem. Okay?
But the numbers did quadruple.
And the numbers
under your
today,
watch.
because of what we have done, we have cut the flow of illegal immigration by half.
But should you
we
have
have
done
cut
that?
the
Should you
flow
have
of
done that?
fentanyl by half, but we need Congress to be able to act to actually fix the problem.
From day one, we have been offering solutions,
It's
she
unbelievable.
said. These are her solutions. Stop the border wall, end Remain in Mexico policy, allow Venezuelan illegal immigrants to remain in the United States, create controversial migrant parole programs, decriminalize illegal immigration, offer health care to illegals, hotels, and food and education. So these solutions seem to benefit the illegals, not the Americans who are paying for it.
And this is the result. The result is Trump in total had 2.4 million cross the border, and she has 8.3 and counting. That's up 241.5%. And part of the reason why the numbers are down now, number one, some executive orders were effective.
And some
some are just
We're not gonna keep scooping deep into the immigration topic because we're not here for that. I just wanted y'all to see really fast, like her demeanor with the 60 Minutes host. I'm sorry, I don't know his name off the rip like that, but we can't have somebody who's that ignorant leading us. People across seas already think we're freaking, for lack of, we're Riri, you know? They really think we're out there, and they love just dogging us out, and she's not going to help. Let's see. I think I got a little bit more for you here.
Meanwhile, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, hearing all that, probably knew it already, joins us live from the Emergency Management Headquarters in Tallahassee. Governor, you've been there quite often. What's the greatest challenge with Milton as opposed to Helene or others you've had to deal with over the last 7 years?
Well, I think as Janice mentioned, this is tracking very close to that Tampa Bay area. I would note that anyone on the western peninsula of Florida, just wherever that eye wall is scheduled to go across now on these cones, that can shift. I think right now they have it just south of Tampa Bay in Manatee County. It could shift further north, and it could shift further south in terms of having the most immediate impacts. But That Tampa Bay area is very low lying. Pinellas County, where I grew up, is surrounded by water. It's a peninsula. It is just vulnerable to storm surge generally.
I would like to say I was not ultimately too aware of Governor DeSantis until this election cycle, but I am superbly impressed with his leadership and his tact in this time. He's taken so much upon his shoulders, especially given the FEMA circumstance and lack thereof. Like, he's been a very great hero for the people, and he deserves all the love and respect he gets because, yeah, my man goes in. That's just for real.
Generally, this is a storm that's going to be hitting sometime Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. The water's already going to be high with the tide, so that's a huge concern. Now, it had gotten up to 180 mile an hour when it was going towards the Yucatan Peninsula and the Gulf of Mexico. That is an incredibly powerful storm. It has weakened since then. It may strengthen today. The forecasts are that it will make landfall weaker than it is today. Let's pray that that's the case. The surge is going to be a big enough problem, and hopefully the winds are manageable. Most of the buildings in Florida are going to be able to handle a Category 3 storm. So there's a lot going on. And oh, by the way, we just had a Category 4 storm impact a lot of people up the west coast of Florida. One of the issues that we saw in places like the Pinellas County beaches and Manatee County beaches was there was a lot of debris, and these local governments have to pick it up. They have contractors that do it, but it wasn't being done fast enough. So I did this weekend. I took all of our state agencies, any truck we had anywhere in the state who's involved in normal missions, we diverted it over to those barrier islands. We're doing a 24/7 debris mission. So we've been able in 48 hours with our state assets be able to do as much debris removal as any of the contractors who've been doing this for almost 2 weeks. Wow. We actually had to pry open one of the landfills in Pinellas County because it wasn't operating 24/7 as my executive order did, but we've made a big dent in that. And the issue is if you have this debris laying out, it can become projectiles, and then with the storm surge, it creates more damage. So it's very difficult. We're going to get hit basically 2 weeks on the dot from getting hit by Helene, but we felt it was important.
So what are your thoughts on that?
Right there, real quick.
Are you guys set in Florida to be able to cover your people, even if FEMA won't have the money?
Well, we have what we need right now. And so FEMA, we work with them. Some of the urban search and rescue, a lot of those people are in Florida anyways, but we're also bringing them in from around the country. We're also working with DOD to supplement the fuel mission. So we have all our requests have been honored pre-storm, and we anticipate after the storm. I don't know what Congress is going to have to do going forward, but I will want, because Steve also raised a good point about the fuel. So the fuel situation is in Florida. It's not a supply issue, it's a distribution issue because the stations are running through it faster than they normally do. We have Florida Highway Patrol escorting these fuel trucks into the gas stations. We have 1.5 million gallons that are either in Florida or en route in reserve. Our port of Tampa is still open. It's still going to be receiving fuel. So I think it's more of just when they run out, you got to replenish it. But we have stocked spare fuel in the state of Florida, and we'll continue to do that leading up to the storm. And we anticipate you could have some major interruptions at the port of Tampa, which is one of the places where we get a lot of our fuel from. And so we will work around that as needed.
Governor, I know Kamala Harris called you selfish. She said she's tried to contact you to.
Now listen to this whole exchange right here. This is what I was looking forward to when I just hit the skip. But listen to this entire exchange, man. He handles this so well, and he is not wrong. And the fact that Kamala even gives this energy at this time of crisis it should be an immediate disqualifier. But my man Ron, he got it. Check it.
To talk to you about hurricane relief, and I know that you've said I think you said she didn't try to contact you. We want to get your response, but first listen to what she said. Well, we don't have the sound, but she said, you know, moment of crisis, if nothing else, should really be the moment that anyone calls himself a leader, says they're going to put politics aside and put the people first. People are in desperate need of support right now and playing political games at this moment in these crisis situations. These are the height of emergency situations. It's just utterly irresponsible, and it's selfish, and it's about political gamemanship. What's your response?
Well, I think she should look in the mirror. We've been on an emergency footing for 2 weeks straight, round the clock, 24/7. We've been working, my office, our Division of Emergency Management, helping people prepare for Hurricane Helene, helping effectuate rescues of people after Hurricane Helene, helping people pick up the pieces of their lives after Helene, and then have to also turn around and prepare for major impacts and maybe even more impacts from Hurricane Milton, be able to have rescue personnel ready to help people, and then, of course, help with the power restoration, all these things to do. So that's been my sole focus. My focus has not been on dealing with Kamala Harris. I saw the news report. I didn't know she tried to contact me. But I'd also say it's not about you, Kamala.
Right.
It's about the people of Florida. My focus is exactly where it should be. And I can tell you this. I've worked on these hurricanes under both President Trump and President Biden. Neither of them ever tried to politicize it. She has never called on any of the storms we've had since she's been vice president until apparently now. Why all of a sudden is she trying to parachute in and inject herself when she's never shown any interest in the past? We know it's because of politics. We know it's because of her campaign. I have zero time to entertain these political games. We're going to continue to do what we need to do to prepare and respond to what may be one of the most damaging storms in the history of the United States. So she says focusing on protecting your people is selfish. I think she ought to look in the mirror.
And
Man, nothing else really matters after that statement. He knocked it out of the park. He knocked it out of the park. All this gamemanship and this self-positioning and egotistical, maniacal, communist behavior is just atrocious, man. We can't allow it to happen one way or the other. In closing, if anything, we obviously can see our government does not care about us unless they're trying to take things away from us. So my advice is to y'all, if you ain't never shot a gun, you never owned a firearm, y'all better start doing some research, because if they have everything their way, they're going to start taking everything away from you. They're going to take away your options to protect yourself. They're going to take away a lot more of your money. They're going to take away your children, which we see in many different forms through transgenderism and birth control and abortion. And man, just prepare yourselves. I'm telling you, especially if somehow Trump loses, just prepare yourself. These are unusual times, but unusual times call for unusual measures, so you got to go out there and step outside of the box that you've become comfortable in. You got to start learning how to protect yourself and standing up for what you believe in. That's the American way. It's not going to change. So, in closing, I love you guys. Be blessed and stay so.